The poetry we read might have its birth somewhere else, in a past we might not recognize, from the ashes of a heart we might not know, from the pangs of a life we might not have any idea about. But it still finds a place in our consciousness because it speaks of truths which we recognize as our own. This is Sunil Bhandari, and you are listening to Uncut Poetry. Sometimes we remember so hard. Sometimes we remember so hard, it pains, as we think of those who have now moved to a suburb in US or a small village in Kerala. Places whose names we can't even pronounce, places so far that all memories of us lose their way trying to get to them. And we become accountants and engineers, dull pursuits which make us rich and help us stay in penthouses with light all around, but which just do not compare to the places they are in, making us wonder if this is where we wanted our lives to end. In darkness, in the brightest places. And we dream of kisses whilst sitting on tombstones and holding hands while sprinklers spray water. Memories suddenly seem like realities, and we come back as our old selves, careless, carefree, a better version, for thinking of now as forever, for being foolish but immeasurably happy. And then we think maybe she will call again from a number we do not know, but which we unthinkingly pick on the first ring. And she would say, "I read your poem in a magazine at the airport lounge. Was that poem for me?" And even whilst lying beside someone we love for life, we start to cry as we look at the wasteland of our lives. And our tears keep falling on the pillow as we realize how inadequate everything we hold dear really feels. So much of life is about forked roads and where we choose to lead ourselves. If we are vigorous about living, we would give little time to ourselves to reconsider or think back to our choices. We ensure that our lives overflow, each minute tumbling into another almost breathlessly, with little time left for reflection or regret. But oftentimes, on a tired evening, when a passing strain of hopelessness seeps into us and nothing seems to be right, the ones who are closest seem far away, and circumstances weigh us down in the name of destiny, we try to fathom the mystery of choices and think back to the forked road, and think about lost chances, or what might have been, or what we could be, of who we could have been with. Memories come rushing in, words ignored, questions answered wrongly, those we profess to love taken for granted. It could all have happened aeons ago, but it suddenly seems like yesterday. And we try to think of where the lost ones might be, what could they be doing, who they might be with, and whether in some balmy, sighing night they think of us, and what would it be like to be called again, or what would they say if we call them, whether their number would be the same, whether they would recognize our voices, whether their voices would suddenly flood with emotion, or just remain neutral, unfeeling, silent, whether at all they ever think of us the way we are thinking of them. And we wonder that though we might not go back to having the luxury of changing our choice, but whether there is ever a future for a remembered past. This is Sunil Bhandari, and you are listening to Uncut Poetry. If you enjoyed this poem, rate it on Spotify or leave a comment on Apple Podcast. And I have a lovely newsletter called The Uncuts, which is like a Sunday dollop of warmth and fun and beauty. Subscribe to it. The link is in the show notes. And if you loved this episode, please do share it with someone you love. See you next week.